everyone, it's Angelina from Sparkling Diva, a completely new thingy for me to do. I want to do a review of these new cards that I've gotten in. It's not an unboxing anymore because I've already done that yesterday. I got them in yesterday, birthday pressy. This is the Earth Magic Oracle card deck from Stephen D. Farmer. Well, as you can see, they come in a normal, one of these normal regular hard boxes. I actually like that. It's quite pretty, really quite pretty. But I've done quite a lot of readings with this deck already, and I just love it. I just want to share it with you, show you some cards, go through a number of cards. I also would like to show you the booklet that comes with it, because that's what I always want to know and see when I'm watching an unboxing or a review, because I'd like to know what information it gives, you know, per card especially. Some of these books are so well, brief when it comes to that. So I'm just opening it. This is the information about Dragonfly, the card. So as you can see, there is a black and white picture of the card, and then you have first you have a section information about, in this case, a dragonfly, how it lives, what it does, the meaning, etc. And then there is more the energy message, so to speak, the interpretation for the deck of that card, which then goes on. It's usually, yeah, always, well, it's quite a lot of information. You can get an awful lot out of it. And then, for instance, this one is, I'll show you cards in a minute. This is Dreamtime, so again the black and white image. And then there is a story about the Aboriginals in Australia. And the Dreamtime, what it means, what it is to them, how they lived as well. A bit of information. And you can get an awful lot out of that often as well, for the interpretation of the cards. And then there is the message of the card for the deck, the interpretation, the message. And yeah, I've written in it already. I always do that. I always end up writing, well, like this another one, fog. Then a black and white picture of fog. The caption is veiled. Then it gives a bit of information what fog actually is. Right, it's a low cloud, a blanket of water crystals that hasn't gained the density of raindrops. The thicker it is, the more it shrouds us in its damp and billowy arms. It can be so thick that it makes it nearly impossible to see directly in front of us. During those times, silence makes its own sound as we pause and allow ourselves to be enveloped in this shroud of impenetrable density. So even out of that bit, that little bit, which is basically information on clouds, what they are and how they feel, etc., you can get a lot for the reading, the interpretation for the reading. And then there is the message, the interpretation of the card message more. When you are enmeshed in confusion and uncertainty and are unsure if it will ever clear up, this is not the best time to make decisions, particularly any major ones. Know that this foggy veil will eventually dissolve, although there may hang about, I have to turn the book. Although there may be ways you are unconsciously contributing to this state, the greater truth is that this is simply a cycle you are moving through, and like all things, this too shall pass. Allow yourself to feel confused. In fact, decide to be confused. No matter what attempts you make right now to make things happen or move in any specific direction out of impatience or frustration, you risk only creating more confusion and uncertainty. So be still and patient. Wait for that first glimmer of awareness to lift the veil so you can see the choices before you more clearly and can then choose to align yourself with the will of spirit. I'm reading that out for one card so you have a bit of an idea what an interpretation of that is like or can be like. In the beginning of the book, well, it's the usual stuff. Yeah, information on how to, well, basically empower the cards, storing your cards, how to do readings, 1-card reading, landscape 3-card reading. Hang about, because there was another one, the past, present, future timeline, a relationship reading. I particularly like that one. It can be about any relationship, doesn't have to be a love relationship. You can pause the video and then you can read it yourself, the positions of the cards. I love that, it works really well, I like it. And then we have the cross, which is also quite nice. So it comes up with a number of spreads, and I believe that after that it actually goes right into the information on how to do readings, general meanings of the cards, and then it goes into the each card, the interpretations of each card. Well, look at that, I've already oh god, I always, you know, make notes and things that I come up with myself. Anyhow, I'm going to show you some of the cards. This is the back. I like the stock, they're nice and flexible. I don't rifle shuffle, I haven't a clue how that works out with this deck. I don't ever do that. I must note that at the beginning there was this these thin thingies from the coating still on the edges, around the edges, and it took quite some shuffling to get rid of. Still not certain. Yeah, you can still see one here, and there were really quite a lot all around, quite long ones as well, and they kept coming off. And I tend to do shuffling on my desk, set up my desk, which is close to my keyboard, and all these thin slivers of plastic came off. So I had to be really careful, but they're gone now, and well, mostly anyway, and I just love it. This is one of the cards, which is tree, which is about grounding. Oh, well, let's get into a few of the cards. There is the fog that I just read about. The fog card fail. This reminds me of Mount Shasta. I don't know if it actually is Mount Shasta, but it does remind me of that. I did a painting of Mount Shasta a few years ago, also with the fog and the evergreens in front. I really like that image. Sanctuary, cave, I like that too. Caveman, he's doing paintings on the rocks. Feeling safe, feeling at home. Amethyst. An amethyst cave. I do love crystals, but for some reason or other I'm not really all that drawn to this card. It's still pretty. There's the tree, which is the same as the back of the cards. Shaman, celebration, volatility. I like that, because if this comes up, it makes you, if you see this, it's like, oh my god, I don't want to see that in a reading. But actually it's about the Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of the volcano there, and there's a constant stream of lava from the volcano, and has been for years. I believe the booklet says from ever since 1983 or something, and that is creating new land. As it gets into the ocean, it creates, there's new land is being created because of that. So even though it's volatility, I quite like that. Blessings, the rainbows, Aboriginal art, and completion, a nice full moon. This one reminds me of a meditation I've got on meeting the fairy queen, the queen of fairy. It's also a full moon, and then going up a hill, and there's a hawthorn tree. Now this is not a hawthorn tree, but still. And then there's an opening among the roots of that tree, and you can go down there, down, 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 spiraling down, and then in the end there's a cavern, and there you are, you will meet the Queen of Fairy. It's a very wonderful meditation. This reminds me of that. Promise, oops, this one is a bit odd. New moon. I wonder if the artist who did this card, I think it's a picture I'm not entirely sure. I photoshopped something. I'm not certain. But this is new moon. Well, where I live in the northern hemisphere, the new moon is not like that. It should be the other way around. This is not new moon. This is not going towards full moon. This is actually the last phase after having the full moon. You know, so maybe in the southern hemisphere that's different. I don't know. So to me, this is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. New beginnings. I love that. I got a lot of depth out of that card yesterday when I did a reading. It's really beautiful. It reminds me of Irian Jaya, which is the Indonesian half of the island of Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is the other half, right? It's another country, so it's the other half. It reminds me of that. I've been there, and it really reminds me of that. Breathe, activation, rain, purification. This one I like. The wolf instinct. I never really cared much for wolves because everyone was always going on that their totem animal was a wolf, and I was thinking, yeah, really, yeah, right, you know. It was always an Indian and a wolf, but I don't know, of late I feel more drawn to wolves. So I like it. Earth magic. Oddly enough, I'm having a bit of difficulty with this card, working with this card. I will have to sit with it. Odd, because I have great affinity when it comes to fairies and working with fairy energy and the fairies, etc. So in that sense, it's a bit odd to find that, yeah, stillness, reflection. This is also weird. I have yet to read the interpretation and the message of this card, but if you just focus on the light tree trunks, there is a landscape in there, almost like a beach with a sea or something. It's kind of odd. I don't know what the idea was of that, but Dreamtime, another Aboriginal card. Dreamtime. Vision Quest, I like that. I like that. This one is my favorite. Out of the yeah, this really is my favorite. This is actually the card that piqued my interest when I first came across this deck, and that made me buy this deck as well. I really love it. The message with the iceberg, because the biggest part of the iceberg is submerged, right? It's underneath the water. So I like that a lot. Synergy, the Green Man. I had to look really closely to find out then where is this Green Man, you know. It's like usually it's very visible, and in this card it's not, and they deliberately did that. It's explained in the booklet, but you can see eyes here and a bit of a nose, so there is an image of a face in there, but it's not really very clear. Movement, go with the flow, strength, more Aboriginal art, radiance, vigilance, stone people, harmony, lightning. I really like this too. Reminds me a bit of Bob Ross. He done some sea paintings a couple of times. Usually it was mountains, right? But he did a few seascapes, and I try to do that as well because I like these waves, you know. And I tried to do that as well to get that light effect in there, and it failed abysmally. I think it was the first painting that actually failed. And I must say that I wasn't too impressed with Bob Ross's versions of his seascapes either. The waves always look so fake, you know. I live close to the sea. They don't look the way the real waves would look, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I love that. And this too, effortless, waterfall, wonderful. Love that card. Shape-shifting, communion, an Indian and an eagle, nurturing Gaia. This one is wonderful too. The whale, a tsunami, wake-up call, Milky Way perspective. This is great. I love that. I just love that. This is more me, that imagery. Ebb and flow, another one of these waves. Like that too. Spring Equinox, Rebirth, Island, Solitude, and Emergence. There's the dragonfly that I showed in the book a bit earlier on. There's a few more cards that I cannot show you right now because they are in a reading. I'll show you one, the top one, the Lotus Flower Unfoldment. I love that too. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. See if I can get to the cards. So I had a reading prepped. Fire, Passion, a Maori or Hawaiian man. Let me see. This one's also beautiful. Although I would have loved a bit more pink, but still it does resonate. It does really feel good. Really comes wonderful. And then there is two more that I would like to show you. The Autumn Equinox Release. It's also about the cycles of life, letting go of stuff. You know, like the leaves fall in during autumn. And that one has to go back there. And we have, I love this one, Invocation Ceremony. This is absolutely beautiful. There's so much detail. Crystals, I love crystals. It's a beautiful card. The message of that card is also great. And then the last one, Vulnerability, the Meadow. So that is about, well, you could feel vulnerable if you are in such an open space, you know. It could make you feel vulnerable, a bit afraid, and makes you want to go back to your comfort zone, etc. But it can also be that you actually have gotten to a place that you have this inner strength and trust, that you now dare to be vulnerable, that you now dare to venture out in the open, and you know, because you know you're strong, you trust that you got yourself. So then you can move out of your comfort zone and experience new things, learn new things without getting overwhelmed or afraid, because you know you got you. Then you can open up, which is wonderful, wonderful quality if you can do that. So yeah, I'm seriously impressed with this deck. I really love it. There's if it appeals to you, well, I would recommend it. There's a few cards in there that I don't like the artwork of so much, but you always have that anyway. Not really, to me, that's not really a problem. But they are deep, you know. If it appeals to you, I feel that I can go really deep with these cards, which I like. I really like. That's why I also have written quite a lot in the booklet itself, because it triggers so much in me that is not in the booklet, not the default interpretations. So I write that down, you know, and I benefit from that when I'm doing readings. So yeah, if you feel drawn to it, I do recommend it. It's lovely. The book, the interpretations and stuff from each card is also well, there's a lot, you know. It's not like you only have 3 sentences to go by. It's quite a lot. So yeah, if you feel drawn to it, go for it. It's well worth its money. Right, so that was it. Thank you for watching. I actually quite enjoyed doing this. I'm not going to do that with every deck I've got or get, you know, but just for this once, I thought, well, why the heck not? I feel like it. And, you know, it's important to do things that you like, that you enjoy, that make you happy. So this made me happy. I hope it helps you too, makes you happy too. Thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you again with one of my readings on my channel. And if not, well, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.